Well, hello and how are you? Hey, this here's Shenandoah Briscoe coming to you live right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Yes, sir, first state capital of Missouri, that is. Back in 1821, all the way through 1826. That's correct. Anyway, hey, this here is going to be blog number 193. That's right, 193. Okay. Hey, what do we got going today? You know, we've got a whole lot of exciting things going on right here in our small town of St. Charles, Missouri. Yes, sir, I don't know what all's going on, but it's outside and it's going on. I tell you what, the sun is shining down and it's a hot one. Yes, sir, we're going to get a pressure cooker. I don't know why, because it's supposed to be getting cooler. Gas prices, boy, they're climbing way up there. You know what I'm saying? Way up there. We don't like it. We don't like no high gas prices, especially when the crude oil is down. And well, they say our biggest problem is one of the refineries is broken. That don't mean they can't open up one of the other refineries and take up some of the slack. I mean, there's enough refineries around here to refine out every drop of oil we got in the United States. But too many people just closed them down. EPA, you know, the EPA people. Did you hear that? They was getting sued? Yes, sir. EPA is getting sued. That's a good thing, because who are they to say anything? Environmental Protection Agency. It's a government ran thing, and then it's a bunch of civilians that think that they know the better good for everybody else, and well, they want what they want, and that's the way it is. Well, too bad, so sad, sorry for you folks. Anyway, yeah, after we got that car flipped over and we were sitting there in the middle of the street, flipped upside down, well, we decided that we were going to go and see if we couldn't get that car flipped back over. So we had seen a guy out in the field with his tractor a little earlier, so we piled up in another car and cruised on off to get to the man in the tractor, and he said, well, yeah, sure, I'll hook her chain to her and flip her back over. And well, by the time we got back, there was a county mountie sitting on the other side of the car saying, hey, y'all are going to have to get this car out of here. I've called the tow truck, and he'll be on the way. And we said, oh, we don't need no tow truck. We got this tractor coming. He's going to flip it back over for us. And the police officer in question said, no, there ain't no way no tractor's going to flip over a car. I mean, is this guy kidding? Doesn't he know what tractors are made for? Anyway, we wrapped that chain around the A-frame of that car, and it started to drag instead of flip. So the five of us got together, and there was 6 or 7 of us. Anyway, 6 or 7 of us, we got on the other end, and we just started to lift up on that edge of the car. So as he went ahead and pulled, it caught traction and flipped the car right on back over. Now, the main reason I was driving that car to tear it up was because it wasn't starting very well anymore. Well, I tell you what, that car started up better right then and there than it had in a long time. And what had happened was it had been losing compression. And, well, when you get it upside down for a bit, oil gets up in all them rings and everything, and it reseals the rings, and well, there you go, compression. Started right up, better than it had in ages. And anyway, I had just had my transmission replaced probably 2 months before that, and well, the only thing that kept us from moving was the fact that the transmission was out of fluid. And so anyway, we took the car down and we sat it on the corner, and the police officer said, "Oh no, you can't leave it there." We said, "Well, it's only going to be here for a short time. We're going to run in to the gas station there and try to get us some transmission fluid, and then we'll get her on out of here." And he wasn't real happy about that either. I mean, he couldn't give us a ticket for obstruction of the road because, well, we got it out of the road. He couldn't give us a ticket because of he could have gave us a ticket for careless and imprudent driving or whatever, but he asked if there were going to be any charges pressed against the vehicle being damaged. And I said, "Oh no, it's my car. I was and my friend was driving, and well, it was an accident, and accidents happen, and no, I'm not pressing any charges against him." And so anyway, he wasn't a very happy camper. And then turns out that whenever his tow truck driver did show up, because we told him he could cancel that tow truck driver, well, he tried to cancel it, and well, they showed up anyway, and it just so happened to be Fred Jr. from Fred's I-70 Towing. Well, one of the guys that was with us just so happened to be an auto body shop with Fred, and well, Fred says, "Oh, yeah, I'll hook it up to you." Another kid that was with us just so happened to have some property not too far away, so we just towed it on over there to that other property, and Fred said, you know, I mean, as far as he was concerned, we towed it for $20 because Fred's dispatch had tried to call him back. He was just out of range. So Fred put about $20 in his pocket, and then he got back out there and told, and dispatch said, "Yeah, we called you off. We didn't know if you could hear us or not because you never confirmed." Sorry about that. Had to have a drink. I'm going to try to get this arm down here out of the way, because, well, it's hurting up there. Ouch. Okay, that's better, I think. We'll get this one out of the way too, and maybe we'll have a little muscle spasm to go along with it. There we go. Anyway, after we moved it over there to that piece of property, our next step with that vehicle was to end up taking it to the junkyard. So we took that vehicle and we got some transmission fluid for it, and we started her up, and we took her on down to the junkyard, and we yanked the battery out of it. It was running, so you know, you didn't have to, once it's running, back then, you could disconnect your battery and go ahead and change from one battery to the next battery, because your alternator would run your car. So we pulled out the old battery, and we pulled out the good battery, and we put in an old battery, and then we went ahead and brought it into the junkyard. Well, I tell you what, most of us and everything was wearing helmets and stuff during our thing. So anyway, yeah, what I was saying was we were all kind of wearing helmets and stuff like that, so we weren't, you know, endangering ourselves as far as we knew. I mean, wearing seat belts and had helmets on and stuff like that. Well, and by the way, what had happened once the car had flipped upside down, well, the front of the roof had smashed down to about 3 inches. 3 inches, about 6 inches of window space above the door. So what we did do was we jacked that thing back up with the car jack out of the back of the van. Back of the car. We just crammed it in between the door and the roof and jacked it up and brought the roof back up to where it belonged. Well, we still had a cracked windshield, and all it was spider, so we just kicked it out. Well, there were still pieces on it, and we ended up towing it to the junkyard instead of driving it down there. Actually, no, we did drive it down there. We just drove it behind somebody else, and, well, I'll tell you what, I had to wear glasses on account that glass was flying in out of that windshield. Even though the windshield was kicked out of there, there were still pieces of glasses falling in there. But anyway, we drove it all the way down there to Taylor's Junkyard in St. Louis, and they used to have it was set up in an old movie, drive-in movie theater thingy. So anyway, we got her down there, and the junkyard guy, me and the guy that was driving the car, first off, me and him was bringing it in, and well, the junkyard guy just opens the door and scooched my butt over, and he says, oh yeah, we'll give you $200 for it. So anyway, he scooched my butt over, and that put my friend up against the door, and so we're driving down around through this junkyard, and that guy is driving like a maniac, and the door, passenger door, the only thing holding it shut is the seatbelt wrapped around the lock. You know how you used to have pull-up locks? Well, that's what we had the seatbelt wrapped around, was a pull-up lock, and every time we'd go around a corner, the door would fly open to about 8 to 12 inches because the seatbelt was just kind of so long, and the way they're set up, they kind of stretch, and the door would be going open, and I was holding my friend in, and we were sitting there yelling at the guy, hey, what are you doing? Are you crazy or something? I mean, we was wearing helmets when we was trying to smash this thing around. But yeah, that car ended up sitting there as their lot car for years. They had cut part of it off of it so that they could put their welding tanks in there and drive it around and use it for a lot car. Well, I did leave one big mistake I did though on it, was I left my license plates on it, and well, I ended up getting a ticket at some point in time for a Oldsmobile Cutlass sitting downtown in St. Louis, who got a parking ticket for my plates. And I called him up. I said, hey, that's not even my car. I mean, if you look at the car and you look at the plates are registered to a two-door Ford, four-door Ford, two-door Ford, to a two-door Ford, not even a four-door Oldsmobile. So I don't expect to be paying no tickets. They said, oh well, we'll just throw out a warrant for your arrest. So if you're ever in St. Louis, well, we can arrest you when the time comes. And well, I didn't really ever go over to St. Louis all that often, so I wasn't really worried about it. There you go. That's how I figured it. Anyway, that was what happened to my van, to my Ford Torino, and that's why I didn't wear seatbelts no more, because They're all upside down, thunk, thunk, thunk on their heads, and I'm skimmying out to make sure that the vehicle's not on fire. Anyway, hey, that looks like my time's up, so hey, this here's Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello, and how are you? You know, God loves you, and so do I. So, be blessed in Jesus' name, and come on back and see me tomorrow. I'll be here, and I hope you are too.